So other students are there. I would like to ask these questions to Renuka Pradhan.
Yes, sir.
Another, ah, are you from Bhubaneswar?
No, Sambalpur.
Sambalpur. Okay. So how do you do with your course?
Writing and spelling.
Okay, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Jyoti Jena. Jyoti Jena. So actually, we find big problems on this video classes. It's a very successful process, but our students are not updated so far. This is the problem, and that's a network problem is also there. But we'll try our best to clear your concept regarding this English syllabus. The first topic is our reading comprehension, developing critical, analytical, and interpreting thinking skills. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, would you tell me your experience when you read something else, be it a newspaper or a novel or a poetry or any literature, or even if your text, any text that you like, when you read, so what's a personal feeling when you read? Do you remember all the things that you have gone through in the text? Suppose you are reading a poem, right? When you read a poem, what problem do you find at the time of reading a poem? Or if you have read a novel, be it Odia, Hindi, or the novel of any other language, no matter. But what actual problems do we find when we start reading a lesson? Could you please
Difficulty
tell
one.
me difficult? Why? What sorts of difficulties? Is it language problem? Is it vocabulary? Is it the contextual matter that creates certain obstacle to understand the text? We are free to discuss all these things because our discussion will be effective. We'll discuss all these things elaborately. And if you uh, confess your problem of reading and will interact with each other, we can find something out of this. So the thing that we intend to discuss here, it will be effective and fruitful for us. Because we are waiting for 10 students, only 5 students are there with me. I'm discussing with 5 students. So in the early stage and the beginning of discussion, I like to interact with all the students or the participants present with me. It will be my pleasure if you let me know about your personal problem at the time of reading a text. Now you mute and start speaking to me. Let me know so that through this interaction process we could able to discuss our intent topic. So one thing that am I do you feel do you feel any problem understanding my pronunciation? Hello, please.
No, sir.
Uh, you please keep that on mute mode so that we will interact. Right. When all students will be present here, you may unmute that time. Until that time, you mute and start speaking to me. Okay. Hello. So my question to all the readers: what common problem do we find at the time of reading a text? Let us take examples of English language. Any text that we read in English language. So common problem that we come upon their words, because we, the Odia speaking people, have less vocabulary stock with us. They don't cope with us to understand a text completely. And as if they are found as locked to enter into the text. They are barrier for us to understand the text. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
You must have come upon this situation. Suppose you have been given a passage to precise that, to summarize the passage. And you're supposed to write all that things from your own understanding. But when you start reading the paragraph, you find some difficult words. Difficult and simple, these are very subjective matter. The things that you know, we should say that simple. The things we do not know, they are difficult, right? What is difficult for you may be simple for me, and what is simple for me, that may be difficult for you. So it is very subjective matter. But we, the Odia readers, we all Odia readers, we come upon these sorts of common problems at the time of reading the text. That is vocabulary problems, right? So when you read a newspaper, do you try to understand all the words written in the newspaper, but you are trying to find out the meaning of all words of that news item. But is it practicable to go through all the difficult words or go through dictionary to find out the meaning of the difficult words? If you go on finding and turning over the pages of a dictionary, then it will take 1 month's time to complete a newspaper. So what process do we adopt at the time of reading a newspaper? Would you like to tell it from your own experience? How do you manage yourself understanding the textual matters or the meaning given in the news? What method do you adopt at the time of reading a news item in the newspaper? Anyone? Please tell me. Let me know, because this is the discussion that we would like to discuss today. This is the concern topic that we have to discuss it today. We are waiting for other students, right? So till that time, within this time, let us have certain discussion regarding this matter, so that I'll know your problems. Suchishmita, please mute and let me know this. Suchishmita, hello? Hello? So do you find any problem to interact with me? Hello?
Sir?
Do you find any problem to interact with
Yes, sir.
me? What problem?
Yes, sir.
Is it the pronunciation problems or uh,
Sir.
hello, hello? Am I clear to you? Do you find any problem to interact with me?
Sir, am I audible or
What
not?
problem? Yes, you are audible. You can tell me now. You are audible. Because from your side, I hear everything very clearly. Yes.
Okay, sir. So please ask me the
Huh.
question again.
The question is that what problem do you find at the time of reading a thing, a topic in English language?
Sir,
Suppose you are reading
sometimes the new words
new words,
which
right?
makes the pronunciation not clear. Yes, sir.
A new pronunciation, because at the time of reading something else in English language, pronunciation is not important because you are not uttering anything else to let others listen to you. But the thing is that you are reading silently or you are reading that loudly. But my question is that the problem that you find at the time of reading something else in English, the meaning you find certain problems to understand the meaning of that passage or the text. Uh, you like to speak what you told. Out of your expression, I could able to know that you are trying to speak that only language words are problem for you. Some new words. New words
Yes, sir.
means the words that you have not come upon uh, any time in your life. For the
Yes,
first
sir.
time, you come upon that word,
Yes, sir.
right? Okay, okay. So, how can you manage? Suppose you are sitting on an interview. The interviewer, they gave you a passage to explain, and they first instructed you. You go through that passage. Thereafter, you say this from your own understanding. What did you understand out of that passage? How can you manage? What thing I want to say you please try to understand. It is not necessary to know the meaning of all words, right? English is not our mother tongue. English is the second language or third language for us. Odia is our mother tongue. And since the time we were in the womb of our mother, we have heard that language. We could interact, we could understand, we could express symbolically or by words. But English becomes problem for us because we have not that much stock of vocabulary power of English language. That is the common problem that we all find. But we should manage that. How could you manage that? We should know the technique of managing that things. Right? What is the technique? We will try to understand the sense. We should sense of that word. Right? If you don't understand one word, next 2 to 3 words you can understand. If you never understand anything at all, but if you go on reading that very slowly, you can sense certain meaning out of that reading. Am I right? You can certainly understand something out of that. Suppose you are watching a Telugu movie, right? But you can understand if you watch it from beginning to end. I think you will certainly understand the story of that film. How could you understand? You don't have any idea regarding that meaning of Telugu words. You can't understand the dialects of hero or actor and actress. And you cannot understand the interaction of actors. In spite of all that barriers, when you watch that film from beginning to end, you could able to understand the story of that film. Does it happen? Am I right or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Ah.
right.
Then how did you understand this?
Sir, through
Because
subtitles.
title is not important. Actually, you are making this very complicated. It is not a matter of complex. It is a very simple matter because language is not a matter of expression. One thing you mark. So the language that we speak, right? Speak with our lips, you can understand. But do you not understand the language of eyes? The language of eyes are very real, are very true. Language of eyes, they never speak lies, right? The language of lips can tell certain lies, but language of eyes are always authentic, real. The insight is reflected on your eyes. The thought of your insight or inside thought of a person is always reflected on the eyes of a person. Am I right or not? You must have watched a dog. We can set an example of a dog. And if you are looking at the dog with angry eyes, you see the dog will go away. But if you look at the dog with loving eyes, you may find the dog is coming towards you very affectionately, right? And trying to be very close to you. Have you seen this situation in your life?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Then
sir.
what do you understand out of this? The language of eyes, right? Language, the eyes need no language. Eyes have their own language, right? It need not to be expressed. It need not to be pronounced, uttered, or spelled. Only simple look can tell many things to a person. So we also apply the same thing. When we watch a Telugu movie, the body expression or body language of actor and actress help us to understand the entire facts. Am I right?
Yes.
Am I right? Then language is not a barrier. You have intention how to understand every and each character, right? How to understand the mentality and the mindset of every and each character, so that this interest, this likingness, this aspiration help you to understand the entire text. Am I right or not? This
Yes,
is the
sir.
thing.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Then my point is, let us try to understand. When we read the topic of other language, if we really know how to read, how to write the letter, be it Hindi or be it English, the way we could able to write Odia language, the way we are able to understand Odia language and literature, the same way we cannot understand English language and literature. The problem is that we are not acquainted with this language. This is the common problem. And we learn this language after long times. When we become 6, 7, we start to learn this language. And we do not get the ample scope to speak this language or to interact with this language with other persons. Suppose you are studying in a convent, in a public school, and you have been instructed not to utter any regional language inside the campus. Otherwise, you'll be punished. In fear of that, you are speaking that English language, but you are not acquainted, right? But you are trying to speak that language. You are trying to manage that language. You cannot express yourself completely with a correct sentence or a correct expression. It's due to problem of second language or learning of the second language. But you manage to speak. One thing you try to understand this. Suppose you have not got any chance in your life to speak Hindi language, right? But you can read Hindi, you can understand Hindi, and you can understand any complicated or difficult language of Hindi, because every day we watch TV, we come upon Hindi speaking people on the screen, so that we understand. But you have not got any chance at all to speak something else in Hindi language. Suppose you have been to Bihar, and Bihar people, they may not understand if you express anything in English language. But you have never spoken Hindi language in your life. For the first time, you have been to Bihar, and unless you speak that language, you cannot take your food. You cannot go to any hotel. You cannot purchase anything in any shop. So you try to uh, collect all the knowledge that you have gained on television. You are trying to speak television Hindi language at the time of need, right? But people of Bihar, they are not that much acquainted with the TV Hindi language. They are speaking in their Bihari language. But you are trying to speak that. 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, you went on speaking this language. On fifth days, on 6 days, you'll find you could able to speak something else. That may be wrong. You are trying to manage speaking something else by the help of Odia, Hindi, English, right? You are telling that मुझे थोड़ा चावल दीजिए, if you cannot express thoda bhat dijiye, right? But we have to speak chawal in Hindi. But as we cannot recollect that word chawal, we are speaking that give me uh, thode bhat chahiye. Then when you heard that someone is speaking that bhat chawal, you also trying to put that word there. So if you go on speaking within 10 days, you could able to speak that Hindi language. How did it happen? It happened because you got a chance to recollect all your past ideas and try to put that things there practically. Otherwise, you cannot stay there. You cannot manage to stay there because they are Hindi speaking people. You have to do everything with Hindi language, not with any other languages. They cannot understand English language. So you are bound to speak that language. It means that when you need to speak something else, when you intend to speak certain language, you will find you will get the cooperation of that language. Right? This type of things is also applicable at the time of reading. So the sense, you are reading newspaper and you find you just come upon 10 lines, and 10 lines you come upon 10 to 15 difficult words that you do not know the meaning of that difficult words. But when you went on reading that paragraph or news item, after reading that news item, you could able to understand the meaning of that. You could sense this must be the meaning of that news item, right? The sense that you apply to understand a Telugu film on TV, the same method we apply to understand a text of other languages. Okay, so we should try to omit and avoid difficult to know the meaning of difficult words. Right? After sometimes, if you go on reading or adopt this type of method to read English language, automatic, after some days, you will find without knowing the meaning, exact meaning of a particular word, you could able to understand that, right? And you must be knowing that English word, a particular has not at all a particular meaning. What we have in Odia, suppose I utter a word column. Can you use column in any other sense? Now you please mute and tell me. But we speak column, pen in English. But pen is not pen. Pen can be used in the context of writing. I can say that my friend sends me a letter every week. He sends me a letter every week. What does it mean? What does pen mean here? Pen means writing. My friend writes me letter every day or every week. Instead of using the word write, I could say pen. So pen is used here in sense of writing. But this sorts of double meaning cannot happen in case of Odia and Sanskrit language. They are very much scientific, right? A particular word that could be used in a particular sense, and the same word cannot be used in double sense, in double meaning, in double way, as we use English language, right? You are telling a chair. We can take example of chair where we sit. The man is sitting on a chair, in a chair, right? At a chair. This type of preposition that we use. But chair means it's the place where we sit and find comfortable. We feel comfortable sitting on chair. Okay, you see that. I'm using another sentence. ମୁଁ ଏଠି କହୁଛି ଯେ ସେ ଚେୟାର ଉପରେ ବସିଛନ୍ତି. ଏଠି chair, it implies the place or it is a thing where we sit to find comfort. But if I say this meeting will be chaired by the principal, this meeting will be chaired by the principal, what does it mean? Here chair implies to preside over the meeting. The principal is going to preside over the meeting. The principal is going to chair the meeting. Right? So the meaning of chair is applied in two sense, in two ways. Okay. So I want to say that you may not find a particular meaning of a particular word in English language. A language could be used in different ways, in different sense, with different meaning. So, the word that you are trying to find exact meaning of that word when you are reading a newspaper, the same word, the meaning of the same word will be changed in another context. Right? In another context, the meaning will be changed. So, my point is that we should not be serious about knowing the meaning of the words. We should be careful of using the word. How the words, the concept of the word, we should understand that, so that we could able to understand the meaning of words. The same words have been used in different contexts, or we can say that the contextual, to know the contextual meaning is more important in reading. Okay. So, do you find difficult to understand? Hello? Hello?
No, sir, it's okay.
Am I
Yes,
audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. You should say me. You should respond. Otherwise, I should not feel that you are sitting or you have kept that mobile phone there and left the place. So I think as I'm talking about this matter, not interesting to listen, so that you may not show any interest to interact. Am I right or wrong?
no, sir, it's not like that.
Okay, okay. So actually, English is very simple language, right? Because we have 50 letters in our alphabetical system, Odia, right? And if you take a Chinese language, it's very complicated language. More than thousands of things are there in alphabetical systems of Chinese language, right? The Chinese language is mostly widely spoken language all over the world. English will come in number three. French, English will come next after that, French language. You see that, but English language is very simple. So far, my knowledge is concerned. You see that entire world is evolving around this English language. Only 26 letters are there, right? 26 letters are there in alphabetical system. And in globalization, this language became the language of the globe, right? Because everywhere people speak this language, and we find it very simple to speak and use this language. One may find a problem to speak Odia language, but one may not find any problem speaking this English language. But our concern was that, because you see that only 7 students are with me. I am interacting with only 7, and waiting for 10 students. The things are going elsewhere, right? We could not concentrate our discussion. Okay. So you must have certain interest to speak this language fluently. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Huh? Have you taken any attempt to speak this language fluently?
Yes, sir. We
And
have
you see
taken.
that if you okay, yes, yes. Please speak me. Actually, you must have taken an attempt, but why you find problem speaking certain problem to speak this language? The problem is that you have fear of speaking this language. You have fear of grammar, right? You have fear of your teacher, English teacher, right? And this is very unscientific language. You should know. If I scold you in Odia language, you can understand me. We can understand to each other. Okay. But if I speak you in English language, and if you speak that language to me, then we may understand to each other or may not understand to each other. Because G.B. Shaw, the great reader of English literature, play reader, G.B. Shaw, right? He told that if two English people they speak loudly, if they scold to each other, no one can understand to other. They will fail to understand each other. It is so unscientific language, right? Then how can we say? But our language is very scientific, right? Oriya language, Sanskrit language, these languages are very scientific. If you speak anything in Oriya, I can understand you. If you speak, if you just raise the volume of your speech, I can understand. If you lower the volume of your speech, I can understand. But if the volumes will be operated in the English language in different ways, we'll find problem to understand that language. It is not only the foreigners, but the English-speaking people, they also face the same problem. It is the expression of Jivisa. Then what he told, that if husband and wife, they quarrel with each other in English language, neither the husband nor the wife could able to understand each other. They will remain silent and they will lower the volume of their speech. Then they could express themselves. They could let others know their expression. Otherwise not. Right? So it is so unscientific language. And you must have marked this thing. We are Odia, and one of our participants belong to Sambalpur. Some of us may belong to other part of Odisha. And if any Bengali student is with us, the language, when she starts or he starts to speak English language, the way he pronounces English language, the same way an Odia speaking person cannot pronounce. The pronunciation will be different, right? When you find a Punjabi is speaking English language, his speaking styles will be different. When a Telugu speaking person speaking English language, his speaking style will be different. Have you marked this or not?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Why this happens to the why this happens to the speaker? When Odia people speak English, they speak Odilis, Odia plus English, like eh? like potato plus tomato is equal to tomato, like smoke and what? Smoke and fog is equal to smog, right? When Hindi speaking people they try to speak English language, they speak Hindilish, Hindi plus English, that is Hindilish. And when Bengali people speak to a person, when they speak English language, you'll find they are speaking Bengalese, means Bengali language plus English language. The accent of the mother's tongue is always influenced, it always influenced and followed at the time of speaking a foreign language. We cannot make ourselves free from the accent of regional languages, accent and stress of regional languages. They will influence a lot at the time of speaking a foreign language. For that reason, when we speak a foreign language, the language is spoken with our Odia accent and stress. So that's why the pronunciation becomes different when it is spoken by different people, right? But to universalize this, to make it a common, a particular method have been adopted. That is called RP sound in linguistics. Linguistics, that study of language scientifically. What we call that linguistics. Okay. And this portion that we read, this aspects of language is also one of the portions of linguistics. How to read the text, how to write the text, how to understand the text, how to interpret the text, and how to deal with the text in different way and with different aspects. That is our concern. Okay, we should learn. Unless we have love for this language, we cannot acquire, we cannot develop our skill to speak this language, right? We all have certain inclination and interest to speak this language, but the problem that is pure psychosis always guide us or let us not allow to speak this language fearlessly. This happens. Okay, when you find find an English teacher sitting before you, and the teacher let you speak something else, in that time it happens that you fear of speaking in presence of your English teacher.
Sir.
If this happens, then just sir.
No, sir. Sir, there is a appeal for the learners. There is a appeal for the learners. At least they should try to intimate their friends to join in the group. We have already intimated that whenever 10 students will join, then program will continue. But we request all the learners, they should intimate, because they should intimate our program director or regional director that our program should continue. There is some stipulation, some there is some limitation that only 10 students, whenever 10 students joined, at the same time the classes will continue. So on behalf of this
Right.
program, the students make contact or intimated to regional director and other personals that if one man will in the virtual mode, then program will continue. So I request our learners that they should intimate that program should continue. We have got a information from
Because
the regional director office that whenever 10 students will continue, then program will continue. We have taken 3 classes.
that should be
Sir, we have taken
right, because
5 classes.
uh,
Very few students have joined, that is in geography and geology, by which we have closed the
okay,
programs. So, in case of we
right,
have intimated in today's class 523 students.
right,
From 523 students, only 5 students have joined. Then how could the program will continue? So it is
right.
my appeal by you, sir. You should intimate to our beloved students that they should participate and the program will continue. Am I audible?
Okay. Yes, yes, you are audible. The thing is that actually so many students are there, but actually other students they manage to learn this language, learn these lessons by themselves without help of any classroom teaching or classroom discussion. But some students, those who are interested to join the class and to interact with the teacher and to clear their concept, they will suffer if other students they fail to join. Then the aspirant or the student, those who have come and joined, they gave their time to listen us and interact with us. They may not avail this opportunity if this happens. So I also, on behalf of our IGNO Center and on behalf of coordinator, through these programs, I would like to appeal to the director sir or to the coordinator sir and to my dear participants, learners, that you please let the office know this problem, that we are interested to learn. We want to have this class because we need this class to clear our concept, to cover our course. So if other students don't join, why should we suffer for them? If they are interested, let them join. They already have been intimated, but they don't turn up. What should we do? And you just tell about ourselves. And I think if this is appealed by the participants
On the learner side,
before the, uh, then
sir,
it
if
will be effective.
if they will write or they will make a mail to the regional director that
Right,
we want to learn something from by virtual mode, although our sample is very less, but still we are interested to join. But please allow the coordinator or center to continue the program if only one student will attend in the program. So all the students or all the learners may write
right,
a mail or send a mail to the regional director so that program will continue. And another thing, I saw that the most of the students that is in botany, zoology, chemistry, 15 students have joined, and in case of English, although 523 students have allotted,
right.
only 5 students have joined. So
Oh,
there is a instruction from.
oh. It's better of regret.
So please intimate
uh,
the student side that they want to learn something. The program should continue. There should not be any stipulation regarding the number of students. 10 numbers. Okay, am I audible?
Yes.
yes, sir, yes, sir.
So you should write to the regional director or a mail in your through your mail to the regional director so that we will continue the program.
Right, right.
Thank you, Jachi bhai.
Right. Thank you.
I extend my warm wishes that we will continue our program more than 4 or 5 classes. Thank you, Jachi bhai. We are just winding up the class. Any information you want to give our learner students or our learners, please give
Uh,
give
uh,
your message.
I want to give this message to all the learners. Your number is was very less today. So it is matter of regret. We have heard that how the coordinator sir was expressing this matter regretfully. What is the instruction of the office and what is the number of participants? It is mismatching. So if this happened and go on continuously, then it could not be possible on part of coordinator sir to hold this program, to organize this program. So how this program will be continued and how this will be effective, even if with one student present, if one student present in the classroom, then the class will continue. So let it be, let this information be given to the office and let them know this, so that other students will get benefit. And the
Thank,
students those who have joined here, so they are also free to interact with me if any time they like to put me certain questions regarding their problems. I am also free to consult to interact with them. I don't have any objection. If the office do not cooperate them, I am also ready to cooperate them. So it will be my pleasure if I find certain questions from the learners all times, then I will be ready to interact with them. So the students, those who were present there, I could not find any response from them, but I felt they were listening to me sincerely, and I think they had certain interest to know about their problems and to know about this language. So as they have given much interest and shown their much interest to me for this program, I am also very thankful to them. I think this type of inclination and interest will help them in future to acquire this language and literature, and they will be skilled in future. It's my feeling. What I felt today, I am expressing my feeling. With this inclination, they will be benefited in future. And at last, I like to give this message to all my dear students. You please go on keeping me contact in your contact, so that we will interact in future. If the office fail to cooperate you, I am there to cooperate you. Okay. So thank you all. Thank you all.
thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir. Dear students, one information from you that in tomorrow there is a zoology class, botany class, and mathematics class. So you are requested to attend the same. That is the botany, zoology, and mathematics class. So you should join the program. Thank you very much. Thank you. Just we are winding up our program. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.